than 2 million people to move to the GTA. So I think that's an exciting thing. A lot of the domestic immigration, the foreign immigration, Toronto has become a wonderful city with many diverse cultures and ethnicities. So I think it's terrific. We're in a great place to be in the high-rise condominium development industry today and in the next many years. So I'd like to introduce Alfredo Romano from Castle Point to say a few words on behalf of the principals. Thank you.
Thank you, Hunter. My name is Alfredo Romano of Castle Point Realty Partners. And when we envisaged this development of this entire area, you have to really thank a special guest we have here this morning actually. It's not quite noon yet, sorry. Dan Brambilla, the CEO of the Sony Center for the Performing Arts, because he had a dream about a revitalized Sony Center and brought us in. We did the L Tower, and you couldn't have better partners than Fernbrook and Citizen because they understand that great communities are led by design. As a wonderful, adjunct to the L Tower, we had to buy the property across the street, which is now Backstage, because we needed to provide parking for L Tower. Another wonderful result was we were going to build an office building. The office building didn't go forward. Go Transit had decided to go elsewhere. We then put in our application for Backstage, a 36-story tower, which you now have all had experience with, and many of you have bought and invested in. And it was called Backstage because of its physical location, being right behind the Sony Center. We wanted to give it a dramatic flair, a dramatic design, and we did that. So the developers got together and said, okay, what are we going to do to launch the facility, the building, the condo at today's event? So we said, why don't we stick with this performing arts theme, this movie theme, and Backstage. It's about the theater, it's about film, it's about performance. So we said, why don't we do a little film? And we'll make this film, we'll bring in A-list actors to play the developers. Now, developers, as you know, all have very big egos. There are a lot of things, but they have big egos. So I went to Danny Salvatore, who's the principal of Fernbrook, and I said, Danny, who do you want to play you in this movie? And he thought about it and he said, I want to be Robert De Niro. Okay? And he said, I want him to say that line. You know that line in Taxi Driver? Are you talking to me? Are you talking to me? So I said, fine, we're sparing no expense. So then I go to Sam. I say, Sam, who do you want to play you? Sam thought about it and he said, well, who's playing Danny? I said, Robert De Niro. And he says, well, I have to be Al Pacino. I said, no problem. Let's go for it, guys. So then I'm going down the list and I come up to and I say, Robert Chung, who's another principal. I said, Robert, who do you want to play you? He thought about it for a minute. He says, well, I really don't want a speaking part, but I really want Jet Li to play me. And he says, I want one scene to be included. And that's the scene when a purchaser comes up and asks for a discount. And I give him a kick in the head. So I'm going down the list, and then John O'Keefe, my wonderful friend and partner, and he's from Los Angeles. He grew up in LA. I figured he's going to come up with a great list to play him. He lives in West Hollywood. By the way, as an aside, John has asked me to tell you that if any one of you are ever in West Hollywood to celebrate Backstage, and you're going to California and you're in LA, you can stay at his place. His phone number is 416-317-1165. That's for real. Although, be forewarned, at John's place, he's very innovative design in his place. He doesn't have a kitchen, but he does have a bar. So I asked John, who do you want to play you, John? And he hands me this long list, and I start reading down the list, and I'm looking at it. I'm going, Robert Downey Jr., Colin Farrell, Charlie Sheen. I said, John, all these guys are in rehab. So I can't exclude myself from this exercise. So I go home and I'm going to seek advice from my wonderful partner in life, Moira. I say, Moira, I have to have an A-list actor play me because these guys have chosen big names. And so she says, well, then who do you who do you want to play you? And I said, well, you know, you're going to be in this film too. I said, who do you want to play you, Moira, my wife? And she thought about it. She said, Angelina Jolie. No problem. And then she says, well, then who's going to play you, Alfredo? I thought about it, and I said, who's really smart and sexy and can talk fast? And I said, I want John Hamm, the star of Mad Men, to play me. And then Moira turned to me and said, in that case, I think I'll just play myself. All kidding aside, Backstage is really a collaboration of three great companies, of a tremendous amount of effort from the City of Toronto itself. Pam McConnell, who's not here today, she regrets not being able to make it, our local councillor, was absolutely superb in shepherding the process forward. The stakeholders, the BIA for St. Lawrence, the St. Lawrence Neighborhood Association, Ed Nixon, who helped us tremendously in shepherding along the process. All of the partners, all the guys at Citizen, Joe Cordiano's here, Paolo Stellato's here, Robert and Chi Chung from the Citizen Group, and of course Sam. Sam dreams big but delivers big, and that's what's great about this group. And so here we are. But ultimately, all kidding aside, the stars of this performance really are the purchasers, yourselves. Many of you are here today. Because you put your hard-earned money forward and you believed in this project, you recognize the location, you recognize the design, and you recognize the quality. So really you are the stars of all this, and we all want to thank you collectively for the tremendous faith that you put in us. And I think we're now all going to gather and go, oh, you know what, I have to tell you one thing. I have to make regrets also for Mayor Ford. He could not come. But when I found out that he couldn't come, I actually went to Mayor Ford and said, Mayor Ford, I want to put you in the movie. And then this is the last character. And then Mayor Ford said, really? He said, I'd like that. And I said, well, who do you want to play you? And then he blurted out, you know, that big Canadian guy, John Candy. I said, but your worship, John Candy's dead. And I said, oh. And then he said, he thought again. And who's that other guy? You know, I was separated at birth from him. Chris Farley. I said, your worship. I said, Chris Farley is also dead. So then Mayor Ford said, damn it. He said, then get Barbara Streisand. and have her sing that song, you know, My Way or the Highway. So Mayor Ford could not make it here. He was called out to a very important function. I don't know whether he's at his accountant's office or not. Trying to deal with all his campaign financing, but he really wanted to be here and wanted me to extend my personal apologies to all of you for not being able to make it. He was scheduled to come and then got called away. So we're all now going to gather outside before it rains at the site to do a quick ceremonial dig, and then we're going to reconvene here for refreshments. Once again, thank you, and please enjoy the balance of the program.